So check this out. The last time I posted a video or two working on my Black Flag tribute vest. Tribute vest. Tribute vest. Tribute vest. Tribute vest. Tribute vest. Anyway, the last time I was working on my tribute vest, I was waiting for one of the main pieces, which was my back patch, to come in, and guess what? The damn Trump tariffs kind of screwed that up for me for a while, because the shop I was buying from was in Poland. Well, we had finally figured out a way to kind of deal with that, so guess what? I got my back patch, and if you recall, if you watched, I was going to have a back patch of this album cover, because I love this, but guess what? I changed my mind. From the cover of the Weeding Out album, and I didn't choose this art because this is my favorite Black Flag album. It's done. It's okay, but it's not. This is just a fun one to listen to, I guess. But more, this artwork is just wicked. Like, I love this. I think it's badass as hell. You got kind of the Lucifer analyzing the sperm, weeding out. That definitely fits modern day, don't you think? And plus, who doesn't love Satan? I love Satan anyway. He seems to be a more reasonable God than some, but oh geez. I've always made it a point to not discuss politics or religion too much on my channel, because I don't have the time, patience, or desire to get into it with a bunch of people, so I ignore that most of the time anyway. Jeez. See what happens when you wear a watch too much? But yeah, anyway, I wanted some awesome artwork for this, and like I said, I almost got the really bright, bright grayish cover for the Live at the Broadway, but when I was kind of working on getting my patch together, I ended up choosing this artwork. So this is it. Stupid tariffs, man, I swear. But anyways, I started some of the studs quite a ways back I'm going to line the outside with studs, that's kind of obvious, but also I tend to use these to make sure that my edges are even so that the back patch is pretty damn close to perfectly centered, if not perfectly centered. So today's mission, I'm going to finish the installation piece here and sew this on. I'm not going to also film the process of putting the studs, because man, that would make this video hours long. Like, it takes me quite a while to do the studs. I just use a small kind of flathead screwdriver from my electronics repair kit, push them through, flip the thing over, and kind of bend in each of the prongs, but we're not doing that. But I thought for those that might find it interesting or relaxing, or maybe not at all, I thought I would film this project, at least the installation of the back patch. Steps is I've got the fabric of the vest kind of bunched out underneath, and the goal is to make the surface as flat as possible, because I don't want to sew in any wrinkles like that. So anyway, what do you say we jump in? I am really excited that this thing finally made it. Just because I hate starting a project and not finishing it. I mean, I've got 4 battle jackets and 3 winter coats. ones and one leather one, which I don't like leather. I never did, but you need that when you're on a motorcycle in the colder weather, because you know the damn thing weighs 50 pounds and no wind is getting through it. So I put on a hoodie, zip that thing up, and then I'm good to ride to work at 5:30 in the morning. If you're interested to know what it is I'm doing exactly, I have, assuming you've never seen any of my previous videos, to hold my patches in place when I sew them on, I tend to use medical tape because it's immensely sticky and holds reasonably well. Sometimes the patch, any of my patches might shift a little bit and it might make them slightly crooked, but most of the time that doesn't happen. I've done this technique with every piece of gear I've ever made except for my very first couple of attempts when I was a teenager, late teenager, young adult, whatever, because I was trying to roll with safety pins because I didn't know how to sew at all and I thought the look was cool, but also for the sake of holding the patch somewhat steady, that's why I'm kind of just randomly alternating directions that the tape is sitting. Might be ridiculous, say what you will, but this technique has always worked out for me. I suppose if I ever chose to remove a patch, the only thing that would be left in its place would be some sticky spots from the tape rubbing off. Should be reasonably sufficient. My camera's above me. I will try my best to keep things in view so you can see what's going on. By having this up here and having somewhat of a straight line of them, as you can see, I can properly make sure both sides are good and centered up, and kind of give me a basis. It's not perfect. It is definitely not a perfect system. I'm not someone that has much artistic talent, so everything I do tends to be a little messed up in some small way anyway. This will be alright. of mine is when it comes to back patches, so you don't have too much of a big, poofy, bubbly effect, like an air pocket, so to speak. I tend to run this with 2 needles. So we'll start with the first needle. Get that thing threaded up. I'm going to pull out a big section here. So give me a second. I usually have to do 2 runs. So in other words, one, like I don't know what the terminology is, but one needle is 1 run. And if I take too much, if I make a really huge ring of thread here, then it gets tangled up really easily. It becomes a real pain in the ass. So it's generally best to do 2 runs. In other words, thread it, then thread another needle after the fact, and continue. Does that make any sense? That probably makes more sense in my head. Oh, it slipped out. The process, if you don't know, is just tying knots. And most of my knots when I'm sewing patches on, I don't just go around once and pull it. I wrap that sucker around several times, random numbers of times, 3 times, 5 times, 2 times. So I make a big fat knot like that, prevents it from slipping out of there. Okay, so there we go. Now I'm going to hang that over my camera mount back there. And get the other needle going. I think that one will do. So we repeat. The thread I use, by the way, is 100% nylon. It's a little bit thicker and easier to handle as far as my fat fingers go, and it's extremely durable. Like, you really gotta go with some stupid crazy force to pull this and break it, compared to regular thread, which absolutely sucks. Cotton thread or what have you. That was my needle bumping up against my camera mount there. Hope that's not loud, because I'm probably not going to remember to edit it out. Maybe, maybe not. And then we do this again for this needle. I just realized this one's big. I might have made this one who knows, maybe I'll make the whole patch in 1 run. Not sure. I generally try to avoid making too big of a needle run, though, because it does get messy. See how I wrap that around several times. It's important. Keeps it from slipping out. And no man likes that. No woman likes that either. Sorry, just trying to be funny, even though we all know better. Because any woman that takes a look at me tends to want to run another direction. So, okay, pull on that, and it's good and thick. Hopefully thick enough, should be. Works pretty well for denim. Now, to get wrinkles in the damn thing once you start the sewing. You gotta go to get at it. Oh, poopy. I'm predominantly right-handed, so I kind of want to work this way, but I think I need to flip this around. I guess I will. Might make my initial start easier, come to think of it. See what I'm actually even doing. Studs there is not perfect, so I've got this like a little bit of space, and I can't really do much about that, I don't suppose. Of course, when I'm wearing the thing and standing up, I don't know if you'll even be able to see that. So I'm going to take my needle, got the loop here, the ring, as I call it, come to no, I'm not going to make this in one run. That is perfectly okay. So come over just a little bit. Don't want to make big stitches because they get droopy and it's not good. I don't like it. I want that patch to be secure enough to take a beating. I'm just starting to get a bit old to be rocking in mosh pits and shit, but then again I did anyway. Here just recently I went with a friend of mine from work to see Cannibal Corpse, Municipal Waste, and a band called Fulci. I'm not a big death metal guy. I like it sometimes, I guess. I've always known Cannibal Corpse since I was a kid, thanks to the Ace Ventura movie. I have a feeling that's how a good chunk of my generation was introduced to Cannibal Corpse. But when I saw that they were coming local, I wanted to go see them. And then Municipal Waste is just freaking awesome. I mean, who doesn't love some good old-fashioned thrash? I always saw thrash metal and hardcore punk as being the same vein. You know what I mean? Like the Dirty Rotten Imbeciles or the Exploited, compared to the likes of Municipal Waste. And I don't know. I think thrash metal and thrash punk, hardcore punk, really go cut from the same cloth. But anyways, Municipal Waste was amazing. their stage show is very fun, and it definitely got myself knocked around a bit. Fulci. I ended up buying one of their CDs. They were pretty sweet. That's just classic guttural death metal, but the thing I actually liked about Fulci was their like almost overly excessive use of breakdowns. That shit felt great. That's one of the best parts when you're going to, especially death metal, is when you get those really chonky, gorgeous breakdowns that just light your blood on fire. Then of course Cannibal Corpse. I always kind of wanted to see Corpse Grinder in person because George Fisher, Corpse Grinder, I think he's really cool. Like, the dude is a really good human. He's always, been really affectionate towards his fans, and he's got a obsession with hitting up claw machine games, and he'll drop all kinds of money and win a big armful of toys, and then donates them all to children's hospitals and stuff. I think that's great. Just an all-around good dude. I had really hoped that somebody would wear a Hawaiian shirt and do the dance that Jim Carrey did in the Ace Ventura movie when Hammer Smashed Face started, and I didn't quite get my wish there. But then again, there was this dude that had a jacket, and I mean, like, just a nylon windbreaker jacket that happened to have a Hawaiian art style, and the back of it had a big Ace Ventura business card, like on the cover of the movie. It wasn't sewed on like a battle jacket. Like, that thing was made that way. It was, screen printed nylon windbreaker. So, seeing that was at least cool. But they put on a hell of a show, man. Corpse Grinder, at some point, I think he's gonna pay his dues for all the neck. His neck has got to be like wrecked. If it's not now, it will be. He does the classic head banging and head spinning, the head swirling, waving his hair around. Like, almost every song, almost all his time on the stage, his head just, spinning around in circles. That long area is, I was like, dude, I get it. That's classic metal, but how on earth can you do that for that long, every show, every time? But he's Corpse Grinder. He's amazing, so he does what he wants to do. But I did have a really good time. And as depressed and negative as I just naturally am, those moments in time when I can get a break and kind of feel like a human and feel alive, that definitely revolves heavily around being on my motorcycle and going to shows. Always going to shows. And you would think too, as much as I kind of hate people, like just peopling, it kind of changes when I'm at a show. Like, I don't become any kind of extrovert. I just don't really talk to anybody unless they come up talking to me about one of my battle jackets. But the presence of all the people around suddenly doesn't bother me. Now, if you can see what's going on here, how they're smaller stitches and fairly close together, that is how I do it. It might be overkill, big time, might be excessive, make the process take way longer than it needs to, but I do know that in the end, it'll look correct, and more importantly, it's sturdy as hell, because the nylon thread and bigger, wider stitches tend to not be as stable, in my opinion. Now, people don't even like hearing my voice in real life, so I should maybe shut up and just sew for a while. Get some of that sewing sound. You do see how easy this is, right? I guess some people make these really shitty battle jackets because they don't know how to sew and they don't really try, and it's not complicated. I mean, how hard is this? Run the thread through, tie a knot, so you have one big ring, and then in from the bottom, back through from the top. That's it. Sure that I mentioned this before. I didn't really look back at my own videos, but as far as Black Flag goes, I have a pretty long history loving these guys, Henry Rollins in particular, but the thing about me and Black Flag is that my favorite Black Flag stuff is actually the later stuff. I mean, Damaged is a classic. All the stuff on like Everything Went Black, My War. It's up for debate if My War or Damaged are like the most iconic Black Flag records ever. My favorites are actually, in my head, is probably my number one favorite Black Flag album. And Loose Nut. fingers, but I push out at an angle. Just to make sure that the stitch is pulling that way when I pull it tight like that. There. See how it stays flat? Press down with your finger and keep it flat and pull hard. Not too hard, but give it a good, because I don't want to make all this bunch up. Very similar to how I did the top. It is very important to do the sides of the patch the same way. Go part way on one side, on one, with one needle, and then part way with the other needle. I'm telling you, that is a big trick for back patches that you don't want to, kind of bubble up. There might still be a little bit of that, but it is way better to do it this way than try to do it all at once and then you have a big air pocket looking patch. I never did like that. I want it to be as flat and as in shape as the vest can possibly be. Since it's black thread on a black back patch, I hope you're able to see what I'm actually doing. Oh yeah, back to the shutting the hell up, right? Keep picking the vest up because there's a lot of fabric under this part here from the vest, and I wouldn't want to accidentally run the needle through any of that. That would be a mess. See, I've come down this far, just that far. I'm now going to hop to the other side and do the same. See how little waves like this can happen in the fabric, even little ones. That's why it's important to constantly monitor that, keep it flattened out before running the needle through. Yes, if you really love a band enough, then to spend the time and money to make something like this, then it's what you call a labor of love. Not to mention a fitting tribute for anybody that's had a significant impact on your existence in some way or another. Using my hand and fingers underneath to make sure I'm running the needle through a flat piece of denim and not a little wave there, a little wrinkle. That would suck. on, keeps everything good and level. because the next time that I put this vest on my channel here is I'm going to be giving a tour of the finished product when I get it done, which is, I don't sit down and spend a whole day. I just do bits and pieces at a time. Like installing the studs and stuff really takes a long time. Every single one by hand. I started on this side for the shoulders and I might run them down. I don't know yet. Whereas this side, I haven't got there yet. I still have a long way to go. But when this is done, I'll be giving a full tour of it. Plus, I'm going to break out my record collection because I have just about every Black Flag, almost. Most of their discography on vinyl and maybe the CDs too. I don't know if I should do that or